Well, hello and welcome, everybody. We are so glad that you're back here with us for Habit 6, Synergize. This is going to be a really fun one for us to go through to help us really start to look at things a little bit differently. If you've been a very independent person, this is going to be a habit that's going to get you thinking about opening up and letting others in and sharing their ideas. So this is really a
Yeah.
phenomenal way for us to be able to grow ourselves as well as our LifeVantage businesses in exponential ways. So habit number 6, synergize. We've got the principle for this habit being creative collaboration, working together to get a result we cannot get on our own. So this is about seeking perspectives that are different from our own. They challenge us and help us solve problems better, navigating conflicts or developing something new with more than just our own ideas and our own thoughts. So the common paradigm for habit 6 is let's just compromise, right? Let's agree to disagree, or let's compromise. You can have this and I'll have that, right? That is not win-win, and that is not getting the most out of what the opportunity brings. So the highly effective, which is what we're going for, right, is becoming highly effective in every area of our lives. The highly effective paradigm is if we work together, we will discover something better than what either of us had in mind to start. So we are better together. So synergy is the highest activity in all life, the true test and manifestation of all the other habits put together. That's Stephen R. Covey's quote. So we needed all of the previous habits that we've been learning to come together for us to be able to now think differently and synergize together. So the highly effective practices that go along with habit 6 are value other people's thought processes, the differences that come up between you and someone else, and then seek third alternatives. That means that you'll come with an idea, the other people come with ideas, and yet you may not use either of those. We're looking for something all fresh and new as part of the practice for synergy. So here at LifeVantage, we know synergy, right? I mean, gosh, that's what our products are based off of. In our business, we have products that work off of the synergy of specific ingredients in specific minute amounts that when combined together get an exponentially greater response, right? Then taking those products and putting them into the stacks and the packs that the company organizes for us gives us another additional opportunity for synergy that continues to increase with even greater results. So with this, we can also experience the same synergy when working with people that have different ideas, viewpoints, experiences, and we could go on and on and on, right? Because we all have different backgrounds. We all have different thought processes. We all have different ideas and thoughts that come from experiences we've had before. And so we can come together and we can create something with synergy that is exponentially better than we can do something on our own, right? So we know synergy here at LifeVantage. And this is the habit that takes us as individuals and turns us into a team where we can get better. So valuing the differences. When you seek out and value different perspectives, you can unlock new ideas and possibilities. So you want to use this language to get a different perspective. So these are really great questions and statements to be making. How do you view this when you're talking to someone else? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then remember, you have to be listening first to understand, not to be understood, right? So you want to understand what they're sharing with you. What would you do differently? What do you think I'm missing? What has worked in your experience? And what's your top priority? These are all ways to be able to learn what someone else is thinking so that you're on the same page, maybe not in agreement, but there you have a foundation that you can start from moving forward by valuing each other's differences. So with many ideas come creative solutions, because that is what we're seeking here, is the actual solution. It's not a matter of you being right and the other person being wrong or vice versa. This is coming up with a creative solution with synergy that can help us make tough decisions. resolve conflicts, create something new, improve what already exists, solve life's biggest challenges, and imagine success in all new ways. So I don't know. I want you to be thinking right now. I'm just going to ask you, have any of you felt stuck? Have you felt stuck in what you should be doing right now? Have you felt stuck in the right way to be inviting someone? Have you felt stuck in how to lead the team that you have? Have you felt stuck in any of the relationships that you have with someone that's close to you? Or maybe it's a team member. Maybe it's your leaders, right? Have you felt stuck anywhere? Now, I want you to think to yourself about how bringing someone else in that has a different viewpoint, different perspective, and asking them, it's like, hey, how do you see this? Hey, how would you handle this? Hey, you don't necessarily have to agree 100%, but you're bringing in their perspective and another way of thinking to help you come up with the solution to your stuckness, right? So important. And Dondee, anytime that you have something to share, please make sure that you hop in here and share, because we value your voice too. So again, in the practice, think about this. Think of someone who challenges you. Who's that person that when you get frustrated or get those internal feelings where you know that you need to use that box breathing, right? Who is it that puts you into that position? And then think about, what do they do well? I mean, right there is something probably very different in how we normally would handle it. When we're thinking about somebody that challenges us, are we generally looking at what they do well or what they do that bugs the heck out of us, right? No, we need to start shifting this paradigm, shifting the way we're thinking to where if someone challenges us, we need to be looking for what they do well, even if they're difficult. How can their unique strengths complement yours? Because you're going to be amazed at what can happen when you start thinking this way and you start bringing other people into your conversations. So then you want to try this, okay? You want to intentionally seek out and talk to somebody with meaningful, different perspectives. It could be somebody in a different department, in a different field, or from a different background. That's what the card's saying. It could be somebody that just does things differently than you, right? And then you want to enter the conversation with an open mind. What do they know that you don't? Have you ever heard the phrase, you just don't know what you don't know, right? We oftentimes refer to our prospects that way. They just don't know what they just don't know yet, right? We think about that. So how can you bring your ideas together to create something new and maybe learn something that you don't know yet? Because differences bring value. So Dondee and I are a perfect example of this, guys. We are complete opposites in how we were raised, experiences that we've had, education, support systems, family size. I mean, I'm one of 10. He's one of 3. How about religion background and even more? I mean, our business background. I mean, everything that you can think of, we are different. Other than we love God, we love our family, right? So with that, we've had to learn a lot of things because it's been hard, guys. It's been hard for us to come together, and we are still a work in process. But what we have learned along the way is that it would be really boring if we were the same person. If we thought the same, if we knew the same things, if we had experienced all the same things, we had the same emotions, we had the same ideas or solutions, right? We would be boring. Plus, we would be limited on the impact that we could make. Because if we're only coming from us knowing the same things, us being able to think the same way, having the same ideas, the same solutions, there's only going to be a certain amount of people that will be within our realm of impact. Our ideas and conversation would not lead to exploration of new possibilities. This is something that we're working hard on right now, guys, is our communication, listening first to understand, and then being able to be understood and sharing our ideas and thinking even bigger. So because we are so different, sometimes it brings conflict, but when it doesn't bring the conflict, when we work through that, it sure as heck brings a lot more ideas and possibilities than just one of us or us thinking the exact same way. We would miss out on growth opportunities, because the thing is that when you have things that are difficult, or when you feel like there's always something that is bumping up against you, it gives you the opportunity to choose to think differently and to respond instead of react. And that means growth, right? And then it takes daily work to listen to each other and challenge our thinking to work together. I'm sure Dondee would agree that it takes daily work. And sometimes we're not as good as others. And yet, when we are good, I would say that we're great. And so if we were the same person, we would not have any of these things to be able to bring to the table, to be able to help more people. And so how and where can you seek out differences to be able to expand your value that you can bring to the world and the impact that you can make? Well, look for people with different skills and experience, maybe from different backgrounds of expertise, that you can ask them questions to be able to help you through a problem, or just expand your thinking. How about age or culture demographics? I got to tell you guys, it's like there's been a lot of times that I've heard that the young generation right now are just so lazy, and they just want everything done for them, and they just have such expectations that they don't have to do anything difficult, because things are just going to be given to them. Well, my perspective and my paradigm has been shifted so much, because I have met some young people and I have seen so many young people that are completely opposite of that. And they know things and have experienced things that I never have. And so they can bring something to the table that I was like totally not giving them credit for, right? And then how about culture demographics? Each and every one of us lives somewhere that there are people from other cultures that live there too. And we can all learn something from each other, because again, those cultures have had different experiences. They've lived in different countries. They have family backgrounds that have experienced different things that maybe you haven't. So everybody can bring something different to the table. How about roles in life? You know, it's like, just think about right now the different roles, and even put into the comments different roles that you take on in your life. Like, we're all Life Vantage consultants. That's a role. We're leaders. That's another role. How about this? We are friends, right? How about parents, mothers, fathers, grandparents? Right? How about biblical counselor for me, doctor for Dondee, previously a detective, right? All these different roles in our life. But guess what? There's a lot of people out there that have done things I haven't done. And so by looking at those people that have differences than us, we can bring in their opinions, their expertise, and their thinking to be able to help us be better. What about gender, race, and ethnicity? You know, I think I'm pretty strong as a woman, and I always did, but I'm not a man. And there's things that men can do, and the way men think, that I just can't do. And so bringing in their expertise is going to help me be better and get things done that I couldn't do, like lifting really heavy things right now, or, you know, just the different experiences. I mean, Dondee's brain works completely different than mine. He thinks of things that I don't. And so bringing someone else in is always a value move. What about your cross-line teams? Each and every one of us is blessed with phenomenal people in LifeVantage. And because the way LifeVantage is structured and the way that we all work together, cross-line is a phenomenal pool of people to be able to draw on to get different thinking. And then geographic locations, right? So especially in LifeVantage, where we're expanding, right? It's like we're launching Iceland, and we're in different countries. And if you came up with people that you know in those other countries and you wanted to build there, do you know that one of the most important things and the smartest things that you can do is go to people that live in that country and find out what their values are. Find out what's important. Find out, you know, how they live and the way that they react with each other. Because if you come in and think that you're going to bring in your cultural backgrounds into their country and try to build there, you will not be successful. You have to learn the background and the culture of that geographic location. And so you can utilize people that you know that may live here in the United States, but they're from somewhere else to be able to learn those things. And it's going to help you be better. And then ways of building, guys. I mean, heck, we have got people that build with business first. And then there's people that are more comfortable sharing our products first, right? So business or product forward. And then what about in person and online? There are people that thrive sitting down with others and sharing this opportunity. And then there's those people, you know, that are maybe more, oh gosh, what's it called, babe? Personality wise, you don't like to be out with people, right? Somebody give me that word so that I can use the words.
Antisocial?
No, not antisocial, introvert.
Okay.
Introvert, right? So I'm more of an extrovert. Dondee's more of an introvert. And so it's like online is awesome. And yet he loves to be in front of people to share this information. He just has to go and renew himself afterwards. But with me, I thrive with people. I thrive with individuals. Oh, good. Interesting. I've never had that come up with. I just had a 10-minute warning come up for our time here. So I am someone that loves to do it in person. The very strength in a relationship is having another point of view. Sameness is uncreative and boring. That's another Stephen R. Covey quote. So seek third alternatives. A third alternative is when two sides come together to find a new, better way that serves everyone's needs. It's not my way or your way. It's our way. You can seek third alternatives by following the steps to synergy, which is 1, ask, 2, define, 3, create, 4, arrive. So we want to think outside the box quicker and utilize these 4 steps. First, you want to find out if the other person is willing to participate in the conversation, and you got to ask them for this. And you really need to start with that question, asking yourself, am I willing to participate in this conversation with someone else? 2, define what the criteria of success is. Think about how you want the outcome to be. Are you willing to lay down your pride, listen to someone else, and come up with that third alternative? So you want to determine the end, and you want to keep that in mind. Identify non-negotiables and deal breakers, right? Integrity is always a deal breaker for me. You must have integrity for me to be able to work with you, right? So that's one of those things that you could have as a deal breaker. Now consider the people that are not in the conversation. Win-win is one of the habits. And so even if this is something, a strategy that's trying to become developed, and there's 1, 2, or 3 people that are in this conversation, we need to keep in mind everyone that this is going to impact, everyone that we want to get buy-in for, and keep win-win at the center of our thinking and our conversation when we are defining the criteria. And then number 3, create prototypes and countertype them. It's like, I was like, what are you talking about? I wasn't sure what it was. So prototypes are preliminary ideas, outlines, sketches, or even physical objects that you create. You want to begin as questions like, what if we did this? What if we could? What if we thought this way, right? So what if questions are a great way to prototype an idea. And then keep in mind, they're not always pretty and they fail often, but remember, failure is not bad. Failure is the opportunity for growth, right? So do not worry about something not working out in this prototype phase. And then countertyping is when you test what you came up with in your prototype. You're going to refine it, you're going to build on it, and guess what? Sometimes you might just need to fully reimagine it and maybe scrap the project and start over, right? And so this is really where that plan, do, review comes in play, because you will oftentimes be completely changing what you started out with. And then 4 is arrive. You want to arrive at a third alternative that is a new and different solution that is a win-win for everyone. So continuing this, think about it. What's the most challenging problem you're facing now? We talked about the most challenging person, right? How can you expand your thinking on this problem? So ask yourself, what if we had no constraints, whether it was time, money, energy, resources, whatever it was? What if we had no constraints? What would we do? How have others solved this? Because more than likely, there's going to be other people that have experienced or thought about the same processes that you're trying to come up with. Look at how they did it and maybe take some of their ideas. And then what's the ideal solution, right? What is the solution that we really want? And what if we thought in reverse? So going and having that end in mind and then backtracking on it, on how you could create the perfect solution. What if we thought, or sorry, what's a completely different way of thinking, of doing, of working? What's a completely different way than what we normally do? What is most essential or important, and what can we get rid of? Oh, that's so good right there. Dondee and I are actually in the process of downsizing our house. And so we are going to be probably getting a home that is about half the size where we are now. Our house right now is so full. And so guess what? We have the opportunity to really be thinking about what's most essential, what's important, and then getting rid of everything else. It's going to be so freeing. And what are we assuming is true? One of the things I learned in 8th grade was how to spell assume. And you've probably heard this before. Basically, my teacher taught us how to spell assume was breaking it up into 3 different parts, and it's ass, you, me. Anytime you assume, you're making an ass out of you and me. Right? So we don't want to assume things, but what is it that we're assuming is true? And let's have different thoughts. So limitless possibilities happen when we think this way. There's almost always a third alternative. And if you work with a win-win philosophy and really seek to understand, you can find a solution that will be better for everyone. Again, amazing Stephen R. Covey quote there. So let's talk quickly here about the maturity versus the immaturity continuum. So the first one here on the left is the one that is very familiar to us because this is what we've been working on through the 7 habits, right? Starting at dependence, then going through habit 1, be proactive. 2, begin with the end in mind. Habit 3, put first things first. And that's where we end up with our private victory, which is one of the most important victories that we can have that leads to that independence, to where then we can start kind of thinking about other people. It's not just about us anymore. We're including other people in our thoughts and our actions. So habit number 4 is thinking win-win. Number 5 is seek first to understand, then be understood. And then habit 6 is synergize, where we are right now. And then habit 7 is the one that encircles all of them and makes everything function better, and that is sharpening the saw. Now, versus the immaturity continuum that's on the right-hand side, it's basically the opposite of the maturity continuum. So synergy requires every other habit. If we are not proactive, purposeful, and focused, or we don't think win-win and listen to others, we'll never get to synergy. The immaturity continuum is the opposite of living each habit and often prevents synergy from happening. So we want to make sure that we are focused on the maturity continuum. All right, guys. So our homework for this week is going to be review the 7 habits poster and journal on the question for habit 6. The questions are, what are new ways to think about and or achieve the result you want? And who can you give, or who can give you a new perspective? So those are the things that we were asking ourselves throughout the habit today. And then the second part is review the cards for habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Both of these are found in the Telegram group, so please make sure that you are active in there and that you are participating. Ask questions in there. And then next week, we are going to be back here with habit 7, sharpen the saw, with Chris and Sarah Smith. Same time, same Zoom information, and we can't wait to see you all here.